6 things a smart person never says. Stoic philosophy. Have you ever blurted out something and immediately wished you could turn back time? We've all been there, that moment when words, like arrows, can't be taken back once released. But imagine if you could master your speech so that every word you utter reflects wisdom, sophistication, and inner strength. Today, we're diving into 6 things a smart person never says, inspired by the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism teaches us that words are more than mere sounds, they're a reflection of your intellect and values. From avoiding meaningless bragging to embracing the power of silence, these habits shape not only how you communicate but also who you are. The best part is, by the end of this video, you'll have practical insights to immediately elevate the way you communicate, whether it's at work, with friends, or even in your inner dialogue. So get ready, because this isn't just about what you say, it's about how your words shape the person you become. 1. Avoid bragging about knowledge. Have you ever met someone who constantly tries to show they know everything? They talk endlessly about what they've learned, the projects they've completed, or even the books they've read. At first, you might feel intrigued and captivated by their knowledge. But gradually, that admiration often fades, giving way to feelings of being overwhelmed or even annoyed. It's not that their knowledge lacks value, but the way they present it makes others feel undervalued or unacknowledged. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that true wisdom doesn't require boasting. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest thinkers of Stoicism, wrote, "Nature doesn't boast about what it creates, and neither should we with our wisdom." This statement reminds us that wisdom doesn't need to be displayed through words, but can naturally radiate through actions and how we live. Intelligent individuals don't feel the need to prove themselves to others by bragging. Instead, they allow their true value to shine through their behavior and contributions. The story of John, a lesson on bragging. Let me share a story about John, a friend I once knew. John was a tech expert with extensive knowledge. During meetings or gatherings, he often tried to be the smartest person in the room. He constantly spoke about the big projects he had worked on, the complex technologies he had mastered, and even the awards he had won. Initially, everyone was genuinely impressed by John's knowledge. But over time, conversations with him became exhausting. Instead of feeling inspired, his colleagues began to feel overshadowed or unheard. One day, a colleague candidly told John that while they admired his intelligence, the way he presented himself made others feel excluded. This became a turning point for John. He realized that instead of fostering connections with others, he was unintentionally creating barriers. Stoic lessons, humility, and listening. From John's experience, we can draw several valuable lessons. Let your actions speak for you. If you truly have knowledge or skills, they will naturally shine through your work and how you solve problems. Others will recognize your value without you needing to constantly remind them. Practice humility. Humility doesn't mean downplaying yourself, it allows others to discover your value through interaction. This fosters a sense of connection and mutual respect. Learn to listen. Listening not only helps you learn from others, but also shows that you respect them. Silence, according to Stoic philosophy, isn't a sign of ignorance but a reflection of confidence and deep understanding. John's journey of change. John gradually and deeply learned these lessons. He began to talk less about himself and paid more attention to the stories and ideas of others. Instead of trying to dominate conversations, he focused on contributing humbly and listening more. Over time, people started to approach John not just for his intelligence, but also for the collaboration and sincerity he brought to the table. John proved that wisdom isn't about bragging, but about sharing in a way that uplifts the community. Reflect on yourself. When you feel the urge to brag about your achievements or knowledge, Ask yourself, what is my purpose? If the purpose is to help others or contribute to a discussion, that is commendable. But if the purpose is to seek admiration or recognition, it's time to reassess. Stoic philosophy reminds us that words reflect the character within. When you choose humility over arrogance, you not only enrich your own life, but also enhance the lives of those around you. True wisdom isn't about what you say, but about how what you say and do impacts others meaningfully. 2. Don't dismiss others' opinions. Have you ever felt ignored in a conversation when your opinion was immediately dismissed, even before you had the chance to explain? It's a painful feeling, as if all your effort, thoughts, and value were overlooked. When opinions are hastily dismissed, it not only hurts the person sharing them, but also risks losing the chance to learn or discover a new idea. Stoic philosophy teaches us that openness is a key component of wisdom. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen more and speak less." This quote reminds us that to better understand the world, we need to listen to others instead of quickly dismissing them. The story of David, a leader's lesson in listening. David was a talented leader managing a team of engineers at a large tech company. He prided himself on his ability to make quick and accurate decisions. However, in team meetings, David frequently dismissed his teammates' ideas when they didn't align with his own way of thinking. For him, this was a way to save time and focus on what he deemed important. One day, a team member proposed a new idea to improve workflow processes. Before the person could fully explain, David interrupted, saying, "That won't work, we've tried this before." The teammate looked disappointed and remained silent for the rest of the meeting. A few weeks later, David received a report from another department in the company. To his surprise, the very idea he had dismissed earlier had been successfully implemented by another team, yielding remarkable results. Only then did David realize that he hadn't given his teammate the opportunity to fully explain their idea. He regretted his quick judgment and realized he had missed a valuable opportunity. Stoic lessons: listen and respect opinions. From David's experience, we can learn that listening is more than staying silent. Truly listening is not just remaining quiet while someone else speaks. It involves taking the time to understand their perspective, asking questions to clarify their points, and showing respect for their views. Don't dismiss what you don't fully understand, even if an idea seems impractical at first glance. Strive to understand the full context before making a judgment. Sometimes, unconventional ideas can inspire creativity and innovation. Acknowledge that no one has a monopoly on being right. In work and life, everyone has different perspectives and experiences. An idea that seems wrong in one situation might be right in another. Listening not only respects others, but also opens the door for personal growth. David's journey of change. After the incident, David decided to change his leadership approach. He started paying more attention to his team members' ideas, dedicating time to listen, and encouraging everyone to share. He adopted a new principle in meetings: no idea would be dismissed without thorough discussion. As a result, the team's atmosphere became more open, and members felt their opinions were valued. This improved David's relationships with his colleagues and led to groundbreaking ideas that helped the team achieve remarkable success. Ask yourself, when you feel tempted to dismiss someone's opinion, pause and ask yourself, have I truly understood this opinion? Is there a chance I'm overlooking something important? How can I help this person develop their idea instead of shutting it down? Stoic philosophy reminds us that hastily dismissing an idea not only hurts others, but also deprives us of opportunities to expand our perspective. Remember that listening is not just an act of kindness, it's a powerful tool for fostering innovation and building meaningful connections in life. 3. Restrain purposeful complaining. Imagine someone like Peter, a talented middle-aged professional with the habit of constantly complaining about everything, from being overwhelmed by work to bad weather, and even minor inconveniences like unappetizing office cafeteria food. Peter always found reasons to express dissatisfaction. Initially, his colleagues sympathized and tried to listen. Some even offered solutions or advice to help him improve his situation. But over time, their patience wore thin. They began avoiding Peter because he constantly brought a negative atmosphere. Complaining, a vicious cycle of powerlessness. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the most important thing we can control is how we respond to circumstances, not the events themselves. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we complain without purpose, we often fail to focus on solving the problem and instead amplify feelings of powerlessness. This negativity doesn't just harm our mindset but spreads to those around us, leaving them drained and distant. Peter's story, a lesson in shifting mindsets. One day, Peter realized he was becoming invisible in the office. No one wanted to sit near him in meetings, and colleagues avoided engaging with him during lunch breaks. Feeling lonely, he began wondering why people were distancing themselves. Peter decided to attend a workshop on positive thinking, where the speaker introduced principles of Stoicism. He was encouraged to track his daily complaints. After 1 week, Peter discovered he complained over 20 times a day about everything from major issues like company policies to trivial matters like cold coffee. The speaker suggested a crucial question for Peter to ask himself whenever he felt the urge to complain. Is this within my control? If the answer was no, complaining would only heighten his frustration. If the answer was yes, instead of complaining, he could act to improve the situation. The results of change. Peter started practicing this principle daily. When faced with situations that upset him, he tried viewing them from a different perspective. Instead of complaining about the weather, he prepared by carrying an umbrella or wearing appropriate clothing. Instead of getting annoyed at inefficient colleagues, he focused on supporting them or improving team communication. Instead of resenting decisions made by his superiors, he worked to understand their reasoning and provided constructive feedback when necessary. Gradually, Peter noticed changes not just in his outlook but also in how his colleagues treated him. People began welcoming him back into conversations, and the workplace atmosphere became more pleasant. Benefits of restraining complaints. Improved mental health. Constant complaining traps the mind in negativity, increasing stress and anxiety. By focusing on what we can control, we feel empowered and live more positively. Strengthened relationships. Few people want to be around someone who always finds reasons to be dissatisfied. By restraining complaints, you become a more dependable and approachable companion, promoting action over passivity. Instead of wasting energy on complaining, we can channel it into finding solutions and improving circumstances. This approach not only yields better outcomes but also develops problem-solving skills. Ask yourself, before you complain, pause and ask, is this within my control? If yes, what can I do to change the situation? If no, how can I accept it calmly? Stoicism doesn't ask us to suppress all emotions or ignore challenges. Instead, it encourages us to focus on what we can change and let go of what lies beyond our control. By doing so, we not only create a more peaceful life for ourselves but also foster a more positive environment for those around us. 4. Avoid making empty promises. Promises carry great power. They shape expectations, build trust, and serve as the foundation for lasting relationships. A sincere promise can deepen bonds. while a shallow or broken one can sever connections entirely. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Let your words be plain and true." These words emphasize the importance of sincerity and caution when making any commitment. Greg's story, a lesson from an empty promise. Greg was a young, ambitious entrepreneur known for his persuasive skills and enthusiasm. However, he had a habit one he didn't realize was damaging his reputation, making too many promises he couldn't keep. During a major project with an important client, Greg promised to complete all the work a week ahead of schedule, despite knowing his team was under-resourced and facing challenges. He made the commitment to impress the client. When the deadline arrived, Greg's team failed to deliver as promised. The client was disappointed and lost trust in Greg, eventually withdrawing from future contracts. Greg realized that making promises to smooth things over or create a good impression might offer temporary benefits, but the long-term consequences, losing trust, were far more damaging. Why are empty promises dangerous? Erodes trust. Once you break a promise, others will find it difficult to trust you again. Trust, once damaged, is hard to rebuild. Damages reputation. Personal or professional credibility is built on reliability. Careless promises can severely harm your image. Creates unnecessary pressure. Empty promises not only lead to others' disappointment, but also place undue stress on you, especially when you lack the resources or ability to follow through. Learning to promise responsibly. Consider before committing. Before making a promise, ask yourself, do I have the resources, time, and ability to fulfill this promise? If the answer is no, be honest instead of trying to impress. Keep promises simple and specific. Avoid making vague or overly ambitious promises. A simple, realistic promise is always more valuable than a grandiose one that can't be fulfilled. Offer alternatives when necessary. If unforeseen circumstances prevent you from keeping a promise, promptly inform those involved. Explain the situation and propose alternative solutions. This demonstrates respect and accountability. Greg's journey of change. After his failed project, Greg decided to change his ways. He learned to say no politely and set more realistic expectations in negotiations. He only made commitments when he was confident that he and his team could deliver. When obstacles arose, he quickly communicated with clients and worked together to find appropriate solutions. Over time, Greg regained the trust of former clients and built a reputation as a reliable professional. His success no longer stemmed from overpromising, but from consistently delivering on his words. Stoic philosophy on promises. Stoicism teaches that a wise person need not make many promises. Instead, their actions should prove their reliability. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, said, "Don't talk about what you will do. Let your actions speak for themselves." Key takeaways. A promise is a responsibility. When you commit to something, it's not just a statement, it's a responsibility to others and yourself. Be honest from the start. Don't hesitate to acknowledge your limitations. Transparency and honesty will always be valued over empty promises. Actions speak louder than words. A small, sincere action carries far more weight than any ungrounded promise. By being mindful of our commitments and focusing on actions rather than words, we can cultivate trust, strengthen relationships, and lead a life rooted in integrity and authenticity. 5. Don't deny your mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable in life. However, how we face them truly defines who we are. Admitting mistakes doesn't make you weak, on the contrary. It demonstrates honesty and courage. In Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius once asserted, "If anyone can prove me wrong, I will gladly change." For I seek the truth, which never harms me, over defending myself. The story of a brave leader. Linda, the CEO of a rapidly growing tech company, faced a major setback during a significant project. In haste, she made the decision to adopt a new technology platform without thorough research. A few months later, her team discovered that the platform couldn't meet the company's needs, leading to serious financial and timeline consequences. Initially, Linda felt pressured to protect her reputation by blaming external factors. However, after reflecting, she chose to admit her mistake to the entire team. Linda said, "I made a mistake by not carefully considering all factors before making this decision. I take full responsibility and will do everything I can to address the consequences." Her actions not only rebuilt trust but also motivated her team to unite and find solutions. Through collaborative effort, they successfully transitioned to a more suitable platform, salvaging the project. Why admitting mistakes is important. Builds trust. Admitting mistakes shows others that you are honest and trustworthy. Trust doesn't come from perfection but from sincerity. Encourages learning. Acknowledging mistakes creates an opportunity for you and others to learn, preventing similar errors in the future. Demonstrates maturity. Denying mistakes often stems from ego. Conversely, admitting them reflects humility and personal growth. How to admit mistakes effectively. Accept reality. Don't make excuses or try to cover up. Facing the truth is the first step to fixing the problem. Be honest and clear. Communicate sincerely. For example, I made a mistake in this area, and I take responsibility for it. Propose solutions. Admitting mistakes should be accompanied by actions to rectify them. This shows your commitment to making amends and improving. Let go of ego. Mistakes don't diminish your worth. View them as opportunities to grow and improve. Stoic philosophy on mistakes. In Stoicism, mistakes are seen as a natural part of life and an opportunity for progress. Epictetus said, "It is not the mistake that ruins you, but the refusal to correct it." Stoicism encourages us not to be overly self-critical when errors occur, but also never to ignore the chance to learn from them. Key takeaways. Mistakes are normal. Nobody is perfect, and making mistakes is natural. What matters is how you address them. Admitting mistakes is courageous. It takes courage to acknowledge being wrong, especially when it may impact your reputation or position. Grow from mistakes. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve, rather than avoiding them. Embrace them as a path to personal and professional growth. By embracing our mistakes, admitting them with integrity, and striving to learn from them, we not only grow as individuals but also create an environment where others feel encouraged to do the same. This fosters trust, collaboration, and continuous improvement. 6. Don't overshare about future plans. In life, setting goals and making plans is essential. However, sharing too much about future plans comes with risks that we often overlook. Stoicism teaches us, do not let your words outrun your actions. When you talk too much about your plans, it not only diminishes your actual efforts but also creates unnecessary pressure. The story of Jim and the lesson from silence. Jim, a young and ambitious founder, was always brimming with ideas and aspirations. Every time he had a new idea, he would share it on social media or tell friends and colleagues about it. Initially, the praise he received made Jim feel proud and motivated, but he soon realized that he often failed to follow through on the majority of his announced plans. One day, Jim attended a seminar and heard a speaker say, "You don't need to tell the world about your plans. Instead, let the results speak for themselves." Jim decided to change his approach. Instead of broadcasting every plan, he focused on taking action. With each step forward, he kept silent, worked diligently, and only shared once he achieved results. As a result, Jim not only reduced the pressure of external expectations, but also completed more projects with higher quality. Why you shouldn't overshare about your plans. Words diminish motivation. When you announce your plan, the initial recognition from others can give you a premature sense of satisfaction. This unintentionally lowers your motivation to actually execute the plan. Creates unnecessary pressure. By sharing too much, you face expectations from others, which can cause stress, especially when your plan doesn't progress as expected. Vulnerability to criticism or sabotage. Not everyone will support your plan. Sharing too much may make you a target for criticism or unhealthy competition. Plans may change. During implementation, you may realize that the initial plan needs adjustment. Having already announced it makes it harder to adapt without seeming inconsistent. Stoicism and the power of silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do good, and let others recognize it on their own." The Stoic philosophy encourages us to focus on action rather than words. Real achievements are always more valuable than any promises. How to implement this advice? Only share when necessary. Consider carefully before announcing your plans. If it's not required, keep quiet and focus on execution. Prioritize action. Don't let words come before action. Let the outcome of your work be the best response. Control expectations. Oversharing can create unrealistic expectations from others. Manage expectations by limiting the information you give out. Learn to enjoy the journey, rather than seeking external validation. Focus on completing the work and enjoying the progress you make. Key lessons from Jim's story. Quality over quantity. Instead of laying out numerous plans, focus on a few key goals and put your full effort into achieving them. Silence is golden. Keeping your plans quiet doesn't mean a lack of confidence, it means you understand the power of preserving your strength. Success speaks for itself. The final result is always more persuasive than any words you can speak. By following the Stoic principle of focusing on action rather than excessive talk, we not only protect our motivation but also allow our results to speak for themselves. Gaining respect and